Hi, I'm Sharon Sturicka, and I'm here to talk to you today about active stretching. Active stretching is moving while you're stretching, and there's 3 reasons why this type of stretching is so useful and powerful. First is joint mobility. You're actually getting movement around the joints. Often, when a person doesn't have any mobility around a joint, they tend to overstrain their muscles. 2 is that we're taking the muscles from a shortening state to a lengthening state. Each time you shorten a muscle and then lengthen a muscle, it begins to learn how to lengthen more. And the 3rd reason is because your brain actually puts these 2 pieces together, that you move your joints while strengthening and lengthening your muscles. Let's get started. Our first active stretch today is for the hamstrings. Let's get started. Bring yourself to a seated position on the ground comfortably. First thing is to make sure your sit bones are right underneath you for proper alignment. Bend your knees, bring your knees close into your chest so that you can cross your arms underneath your knees and snuggle in tight. Notice how my chest is very close to my knees. From here, you're going to begin to walk your heels away from you, lengthening the hamstrings, and then walking your feet back up. If you notice, to the side of me, this is where I'm moving now in my hip joint instead of my back or lower spine. So again, I begin to walk my feet away from me, lengthening the hamstrings, keeping my chest snuggled into my knees. What's important is that your chest stays close to your knees, not about fully straightening your legs. Only go as far as it's comfortable. Pause for a moment and return back to the starting position. Doing this movement 5 to 7 times in a row. Let's look at doing the same movement with one leg at a time. This may be easier for some of you. The other leg can be long or slightly bent out to the side, or can even remain standing. It's up to you. You can also hold the knee from below the kneecap, as long as you keep your chest close into your thigh. You begin to walk or slide the heel away from you. Again, your chest staying close in. This is key to getting the maximum stretch in your hamstring. The other hold is to wrap the arms underneath. I like this one better because it really keeps my chest close into my thigh. And then I can really feel the stretch in my hamstring and my buttocks. So this is our first stretch for the hamstrings. Our second active stretch today is working with the quads, the psoas muscle, the glutes, and what's called the IT band. So we're going to actually work with all those muscles together simultaneously. We begin by bringing us to a side-sitting position. Your right leg is bent in front of you, and it's very important to have the lower leg parallel to your pelvis. You're going to slightly lean on your right arm next to you, not out to the side, but have it close again to your pelvis. We're going to start off by bringing our left arm up in front of yourself, looking over the horizon, and begin to start turning to your right. As you do so, notice what's happening with my left hip joint, my left quad, and my left thigh. So I'm not only again getting joint mobility inside the hip joint while lengthening the quad muscle, the IT band, the psoas, and the glute muscle. Repeat this movement in a slow manner 5 to 7 times, each time returning back to the start position. That's the first beginning part of the stretch. The second part is you're going to begin to walk your hands behind you to lean on your forearms. If you notice, your knee is going to pop up, and that's perfectly fine. Allow yourself to let that knee pop up and get comfortable on your forearms. From here, you will begin to direct your left knee down to the ground to stretch and lengthen the quad and psoas. Notice as I do this, I get an arch in my lower back. When I lift the knee, I round in the lower back. So again, I'm getting both joint mobility and a stretch at the same time. This takes a lot of pressure off of the quad being in an isolated position. Repeat this movement again 5 to 7 times. at a comfortable rate for you, not going too fast, but moving slow and with ease. From here, you will gain so much length in your quad, eventually you'll be able to lie down. Once you lie down, you can either have both arms up or bring your left arm down by your side. From here, you're going to again let the left knee pop up. It's natural to do that. As you think of lowering the left knee down, you'll feel the stretch in the quad, through the psoas, into your back, all the way up to the right arm. And then you'll stretch the right arm, which will pull the left knee up. And then as your left knee pulls down, your ribs and chest come forward. So it's kind of a skewer movement of going from your left knee to your right arm, back and forth. Repeat 5 to 7 times, and then slowly bring yourself back up to the sitting position. The last part of this active stretch is to bring your hands in front of yourself. Again, you want your right lower leg to be parallel to your pelvis. From here, you're going to begin to slide your hands out and away from you. Where you're really going to feel this stretch now is on the right side, deep inside the groin and the hip joint and buttocks, the glute muscles. You slide away and then you come back. Again, repeating 5 to 7 times. As that movement gets easier for you, then you're going to add in the left leg straightening behind. So it'll look like this. And you bring the left leg fully straightened behind you as you lean forward over your right leg. And then you come back up to the starting position. Make sure that that left leg is fully straight behind you. And again, that the right leg stays in a straight line. Often the foot will want to slide in, so you want to walk it back out to maximize the stretch in the right side of your leg. You can also walk your hands back up to bring yourself into a nice posture. This is often called pigeon posture for yoga, that really stretches the psoas muscle on the left side, giving you a nice arch in the lower back, opening your chest. And again, then returning back to the start. Let's take a look at this, switching our legs to the other side. Same seated position. This time your left leg is bent in front of you, the right leg is bent behind you. Our first movement was turning, twisting. This is creating a lot of rotation in the spine, a lot of joint mobility in the spine. At the same time, if you're watching what's happening with the right side of my pelvis, the right quad and glute muscles. From here, we went to leaning back on our forearms, allowing this right leg to come up and then tilt down to stretch. And then we continue to lie all the way down, lengthening our left arm, and again, letting this right leg pop up. And then as you drive it down, you feel the pull through the psoas muscle, the rib cage, the arch of the lower back, to the lengthening of the left arm. And you rock back and forth, once lengthening the arm, once pulling the right quad and leg down. From here, we came back up to sitting, bringing our hands in front of us, sliding the hands out away from us. Again, targeting now the left side, making sure this leg is parallel and really stretching that glute and IT band on the left side. Then we start to lengthen and slide the right leg behind us to be straight. From here, we can walk our hands back to get a really nice stretch in the psoas, IT band, glute muscles while arching the spine. That's the last part of this active stretch. Our third active stretch today is the IT band stretch. The IT band runs from the top of your pelvis and hip joint all the way down to the outside of your knee. When this gets super tight, it often pulls on the knee, creates swelling. So it's really an important muscle group to have active stretching. My favorite way is to actually cross my legs while in standing. So let's cross your left leg over to the right, and you're going to bring your hands in front of you to your thigh. Slowly start to slide your hands down all the way to the ground and then slide back up. What's really key and important about this active stretch is to let your head hang. Often people lift like this, which puts a strain on the lower back. Really let your head hang as you slide down and then you slide back up. Again, repeating this movement 5 to 7 times in a very fluid, comfortable manner. From here, you can also then start to slide your left hand down the outside of your left leg. This will also really maximize the stretch which is happening on the right side of the IT band. So your right hip joint and the right side is shifting out to the side. You slide down and you come back up. Again, notice how my head follows my arm and shoulder. I'm not holding my head rigid, but it's following the movement. Now let's take a look at that, crossing our legs the other way. So we're going to cross now our right leg in front of the left. Again, it's now going to be the left side that's going to get the stretch. We start with our hands in front, sliding them down, our head drops, sliding them back up. Notice also this is increasing the joint mobility in the hip joints. And then to slide down the outside, we slide the right hand down to the outside. Again, my shoulder and head follows as my left hip begins to stick out to the side. This is getting a big stretch over here on the outside of the hip into the IT band. So again, sliding down to the outside. And that is our stretch for the IT bands. Our last active stretch today is for the calf and the Achilles, often an area that you have no idea is tight in the first place. My favorite way to do this is to find either a table like this, or a wall or a tree, or even your car, where you can position yourself to put some pressure and lean into that wall or table or car. Bring your left foot in front of you, and I've got my right leg bent behind me to get yourself in a lunge type of position. And to begin with, you don't want to be fully stretched out, so you want to have your right knee slightly bent. This is what makes it an active stretch. And from here, you're going to begin to lengthen the heel back as if you're going to fully straighten the calf muscle and Achilles. And then slowly bend your right knee again, and then drive that right heel back to the ground. And you just repeat this movement again 5 to 7 times. Notice what's happening in my ankle joint as I drive the heel back, and then I bend it again. This active stretch gets the entire calf muscle as well as the Achilles. You may even want to lower yourself down into a deeper lunge halfway into it. You'll feel more comfortable to do so. Again, really drive that heel back to get the maximum stretch in your calf and Achilles. Let's see the other side. So we can change legs, again getting in the lunge position, and start with that left knee bent, and then drive that heel back. And then bend the knee and drive that heel back. You can also walk yourself a little closer to either the table or the wall to really increase an upright posture. If you notice, my posture is very upright. I'm not leaning forward. Again, this maximizes also stretching in the quad muscle, the glute muscle, and having extension in your spine. So this is our calf and Achilles stretch for today. These are our 4 active stretches, not only for running, but for any activity in your daily life. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and you've learned something from these active stretches to make your joints more mobile, to have more flexibility, increasing the ease in your performance, and preventing injury. Remember to do each active stretch 5 to 7 times in a row, slowly and consistently. come visit me at my website, SharonStarica.com, Movement Educator. Have a great day.